Alright, so I'm in the line for some breakfast at Chick-fil-A, but it's taking a bit to go through it, so why not do a video? This kind of shows you how much trouble we're really in this country. The fake job numbers, they're just, again, they're completely fake. They just, by the way, the BLS just revised up into, I think, March 2015's numbers by, what was the number? 200,000 or 300,000 or something. You know, sorry, we said there was more. In other words, there were more people were working. It's actually more people got cut working, you know, lost their jobs. We had to do a revision. So you revise later on, like, as if you don't have the data then. When in reality, you do have the data then. You're being told to make it look as good as possible so that later on, when nobody's paying attention, go ahead and cut those numbers down and show the real truth. Oh, well, we actually lost 200,000 or 300,000 more jobs than we really said. Right. That's not in here, but in this, what I'm about to read you. But it just goes to show you there are massive jobs leaving this country. I was just talking, you know, the other day I did that video up more like 2 months ago about Disney World. I'm never going there again because they've shipped off some very good jobs to Indians who they're actually bringing in the country rather than export them. Now they're bringing the Indians into the country and having IT jobs replaced left and right by Indians. And people commented, oh, well, they did that here, but even before that, and oh, they're doing it here too. At some additional places I didn't know about. So I'm at my sister's house the other day, and she's telling me, oh, one of her friends works at, you know, somewhere, or his brother-in-law works somewhere. Oh, yeah, he's been a programmer there for, you know, 15, 20 years. I want to say it was like Raymond James or some big company. Yeah, they're doing the same thing, and they're bringing in a bunch of Indians. So, on top of that, what if you found out that these big companies that are doing this, it's not the small guys, it's the big companies bringing in all these Indians. And we do have a problem because the Indians, especially if you're exporting it to them, man, do they work cheap. Man. But when you do that, people here lose out on jobs. So it's just a trend that hasn't changed. So what if I told you that these companies that are really heavily doing this have shipped enormous amounts of jobs overseas and have been paying little, extremely little, to even sometimes zero taxes in America? So this article I want to read, corporate traders, after paying zero taxes, General Electric, GE, shipped 167,750 jobs overseas. And when did all this start? Well, what politicians changed the rules in America to allow things like that and promised us it'd be good for us? Hang on. Time to pay. Hello.
4-count mini meal with lemonade, lime ice.
Yep, can I have a ketchup?
One.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
So let's talk about that for a second. Which politicians changed the rules, right? More than a decade ago, President George Bush, W. Bush, first term, he sold the American people on the preposterous idea that cutting taxes for the rich would strengthen the American economy. How many people remember that? Republicans claimed that it was imperative that we slash taxes if we wanted job creators to actually create jobs in the United States. The tax cuts have done nothing. The tax cuts have done nothing that the Bush administration said they would, and 14 years later, multinational billion-dollar corporations like GE and many others, Fortune 500s, etc., are continuing to move jobs overseas. They recently announced that they'd be moving 500 more manufacturing jobs out of the U.S. and overseas to Europe and Asia. More than 167,000, 55%, already work overseas. In spite of this, the corporation still receives millions of dollars in corporate welfare. Earlier this year, the Citizens for Tax Justice released a report detailing 15 Fortune 500 companies that pay little to no federal income taxes, or taxes, not necessarily income taxes. And GE was on that list. In 2014, they paid a tax rate of just 0.9% on more than $5 billion in U.S. profits. So we'll stop there. Just so we all have an idea and a clear understanding. This has not gone away. It hasn't gotten any better. They're shipping jobs off out of this country left and right. Obama has been doing, under his administration, has been doing the same thing. They haven't changed any of the laws. They've made it easier for companies to do this. And what do you also have this son of a gun doing? Bringing in foreign refugees. If you have a crisis on your hands, you're the government, and you know, even though you're faking the numbers and trying to make it look like these numbers aren't as bad, jobless numbers are not as bad, they're not too bad actually, and then again later on, after everyone's forgotten just how bad it actually was with the numbers, oh, we'll have the BLS or whatever, you know, Bureau of Labor Statistics change the numbers to the right numbers way past the time I don't even remember. And then they'll go way up as far as, you know, we miscalculated by 300,000, whatever the hell it was. And there's more actually job losses than that. Well, it doesn't matter. The numbers haven't changed now because you look at the, oh, 5% unemployment. That's really good. Yeah, okay. You can't have this happening left and right and have numbers going down. It also explains why we have 50 billion people, world record setting numbers, on welfare, on food stamps. Because if you're shipping jobs overseas for the corporate elite, they ain't here for people to work. So on top of that, you're going to bring in tens of thousands, and ultimately probably a lot more. That's probably the sugar-coated number. You know, 75 to 100,000 refugees. Okay. You're making the refugees in the first place by warring over in the Middle East. Your little proxy wars. So now these refugees have to go somewhere. You're deciding, let's bring them over here. Our own government agencies are telling us we can't vet these people to see if they're ISIS members or any bad guys whatsoever because there's too many coming in. We just don't have that capability. So the president at the top knows this and is doing this. It's not just ours. Look at Europe. They're bringing them into Europe. It's the same plan everywhere. So you're going to bring in a bunch of people and put them immediately on a welfare system in your country, the welfare system of all welfare systems, because these people don't have anything, zero income, don't even have a place to stay. And in the Eastern or you know, European zone, they're saying let's put them in these houses that have been foreclosed on, that are empty. And I'm going to tell you now, if you hear that here in America, I'm going to laugh my butt off in your face. And I hate to do that because I don't like doing stuff like that, but I will do it. When I say to you, how's paying your mortgage working out for you? Some ISIS folks just got free housing. Some of these foreclosures, they got them a house now. And guess who's paying for it? You. And me. And trust me, if that happens in America, matter of fact, not just America, English-speaking countries, our buddies and stuff too, and they actually go through with it and actually put these people in houses that have been foreclosed on, it's going to hit the people and say, wait a minute, you've kicked out our citizens, our brothers and sisters, because they couldn't make their payment because of the jobs you allowed to be shipped elsewhere. And this is a Western problem, not just an American problem, with the shipping of jobs out. And now you're bringing in these people, multiculturalism, they don't even speak our language, they can't even fit in, they don't even want to eat the free food we've handed them, they've dumped it out in front of our faces, they've thrown rocks at us, they've fought with the police, and they ain't even settled in here yet? And then you go and give them a free house? I'm not paying my mortgage anymore. I'll show you how I fight back. I won't pay the mortgage anymore. That's the conclusion people will come to. And I'm going to sit here laughing and rolling on the floor laughing, as I said, saying I told you that a million people should have stopped, millions of you should have stopped paying your mortgage a long time ago and then just fought it in court. Because if the corporations own and run the government, you can't protest by not paying taxes. That's not going to work out too well for you. Trust me. But you can stop making a mortgage payment and then fight it in court. And then when you fight in court, you'll actually see, hold on a second. I thought I was fighting, a cause here and doing this on purpose. But now that I'm in court, holy crap, we've got some major problems with my mortgage documents and the chain of title and all kinds of other things. It's MERS registration, and they didn't even have to, standing to do what the hell? And you're going to find out you actually didn't do this just to fight back. You actually did it for a legitimate reason. Fraud was committed. And then you get to trace down when the mortgage was generated, which brings up a whole nother can of worms. And who actually generated the loan and what process is screwed up over there. And it goes, well, that was Countrywide had major problems in that department. Oh, wait a minute, mine was a Countrywide loan that Bank of America took over when Countrywide went bye-bye. Huh. So we got some problems there too. So, bottom line is, these corporate elites are the ones running the show. And they're leaving the federal government, even though the federal government is passing these laws and changing these regulations for these companies, which is not good, as you just saw. Old George W. hasn't had a good impact whatsoever. And they're doing this anyways, while simultaneously footing the bill. Corporate elite, 0 to 1% taxes being paid, billions of dollars of profit, overseas shipping out of jobs. They're worldwide. These people don't have any kind of allegiance to your country. These corporations neither. They don't look at this, oh, I'm an American, I ought to do the right thing and hire American. No! We got shareholders, son. We need profits. Go find cheaper labor. All right. And that's how it goes. Isn't that amazing? Corporate profits chase cheap labor. Throughout history, corporate profits chase cheap labor. And we're getting, the government, which ultimately is the taxpayer, gets footed the bill. The bill of all the Americans who don't have jobs anymore, we got to pay that welfare and help them out, while simultaneously shipping more and more out, which creates more and more homeless and jobless Americans. And we don't see a problem with this. This is unsustainable. This is like driving your car with one single tank of gas and being told, just so you know, you got 17, 18 gallons in that tank. You can go anywhere you feel like going, so as far as that car will take you. And once that gas tank's empty, your car's stopping. Except no one wants to talk about that. All the politicians want to talk about is how that gas is great, and trust me, we'll get through this. There'll be plenty in the tank. Don't worry about it. Until the day comes when it shuts off. Then they scatter like cockroaches. I'm resigning today. I'm going to resign. And that's when it ain't fun to be, around in America or any, Western country dealing with that repercussion. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Take care.